Hi, everybody. This is Carolyn Stice, and I am doing a presentation for my Emerging Technologies class through the University of Alaska Southeast. And for my technology grant proposal final, I have decided to write a proposal for the elementary school that my children attend, which is Placitas Elementary in northern New Mexico. And the reason I'm doing this is because although I'm a teacher, I actually teach at the college level and not at the elementary level. For my technology grant proposal, I've decided to focus on using virtual reality in the classroom. So, although I don't teach at Placitas Elementary, I'm very involved with the school itself, with the PTO, and with the general runnings of the school. It's quite a small school, and so I know all of the staff and the principal quite well. And the principal approached me last spring because he knew I knew a lot about technology, and he's interested in introducing virtual reality into the school as a way to enhance the technology program and offerings there. For this project, for this assignment, I've decided to apply for an actual grant, and um, I'll get a teacher at the school to go through with the final stages of the application. But there's a grant that's available through the state for the state of New Mexico. It's called the Wells Fargo Golden Apple Foundation Teacher Partner Program, and there are two stages, two possibilities for this grant. You can get a grant for technology for just one classroom, or which has a max of $1,000, or you can get a $3,000 school-wide multi-classroom project. And so I started to look into virtual reality, and I realized that it is quite expensive, or on the surface it appears to be. There are a lot of options that are out there. You can get a Nearpod, or there are other companies that will set up the virtual reality for you. But I decided to go with Google Expedition because it looks like there are a lot of different programs and apps that can be used. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that Google Expedition could potentially be the least expensive option. Um, if you just buy a kit outright, they're available through Best Buy and a couple other places. The ones at Best Buy actually appear to be the most economical. I was looking at a kit for 20 students. Our class size tends to be fairly small. I think 20 is about the max that each class has. Um, and so this would allow every student in the class in a single class to be on a device at the same time, which would be useful for the teacher. And a basic kit includes 20 student devices, which would be some kind of phone or some other kind of, or a very small tablet, 20 virtual reality viewers, and these ones are fairly fancy. They're made with plastic, but like the Google Cardboard, you still slip a phone or something in there, and that's what the students will look at. Two rapid chargers, one teacher device. And the teacher device is basically a tablet, one router, and the router is used to connect all of the devices together to that teacher device. Then you can choose a case or a charging cart. And then they also offer the Geek Squad white glove service, which I guess is just like a customer service and repair. But if you look at the price and that sounds like a lot of stuff, but if you look at the price, it's $6,999. And I don't know about your school, but our school does not have a budget for that. And so if I'm going to apply for this, I thought if I'm going to apply for this grant, there's no way I could ask them to give us that $3,000 and just hope that we could come up with the other 4,000. So what I did instead was cobble together a kit um, based on doing a lot of research for what devices were truly needed and what the best and most economical options were. So I'll get to that budget in just a minute. But I thought that this would be a particularly useful program because a kit of 20 could be used among all of our classes. We have kindergarten through fifth grade, and basically we have one class for each grade level. And so it's reasonable for our school to only have one kit. And the school is a project-based learning school, which means that the things are connected between subjects. And it's also common for students in different grade levels to work together as well. So let's go ahead and look at this budget that I came up with. After doing some research, I found that the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini was the most reasonably priced device out there that would still meet the requirements. They are only about $50 per unit. So at 20, that's about $1,000. The Google Cardboard, this would be the VR viewer. We don't really need that fancy plastic viewer. The benefit of the Google Cardboard is that they're very inexpensive. I found them around $9 was an average price. So 20 of them would only cost us $180. And the great thing about Google Cardboard is that if one breaks, it's fairly low cost and easy to replace. The tablet that I found was the Lenovo Tab 2. And this is, Lenovo is not known as necessarily a high-end brand, but it's known as being fairly reliable and up and coming. And we can get a tablet that's totally functional, that can do everything that needs to be done for a VR experience for a classroom for only $85. Then I also looked at some rapid chargers, because if the kid is going to move between classrooms, a rapid charger would be very important. And since there would be 20 phones and one tablet, we would need, and if it only had 6 ports each, we would need at least 3 of them. So that would be $28 a piece for $84. A high-speed wireless router was also very reasonably priced, only $55 for one. And then a basic Pelican case that comes on wheels and has foam that's customizable to protect the devices. It's a case that can also be locked. It's only $229.49. And then I also threw in some money to purchase apps, because while there are a lot of free products and apps that are out there, especially associated with big organizations like the National Science Foundation or National Geographic, there are a lot that look like they would be great for making lesson plans, but they do cost money. And they cost varying prices, but I put $500 in the budget just to cover that, so that we could make sure that we weren't limited by that cost restriction. And then finally, because some of these parts are lower end and lower cost, although they will be fully functional, I thought that it would be a good idea to put some money in there to cover replacement parts as needed. So my total ended up being $2,833.49, which, when you compare that to the cost of these projects or these kits at other locations, Best Buy being the cheapest that I could find, there's a huge difference. So below that, I included a sample lesson plan. Like I said, it's a project-based learning school, and so one thing that one of my daughters did last year was to study bugs. And this is a lesson plan that's fairly general and basic on purpose, because I think that it could be adapted for K through 5th grade. And it would meet the basic New Mexico state standards that students apply the process of scientific investigation and design, conduct, communicate about, and evaluate such investigations. For national education technology standards, it would meet research and information fluency and critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making. The objectives for this lesson would be that students would be able to practice following directions. They would be able to conduct the scientific method to create hypotheses about insects being studied. They would be able to collect and analyze data, be able to draw conclusions based on collected data, be able to collaborate with other classmates to determine if their hypothesis is correct, and be able to communicate their findings to the entire class. And hopefully the students would be able to show their understanding by communicating the hypotheses and by doing mini presentations. So if you just scroll through my project on my site, you can see that this, see the rest of the procedures and the goal that I hope, the school goal that we hope will be met by this. Please feel free to leave a message on my website, carolynstice.com, if you have any questions. Thank you.